A Formula One Tuesday in the middle of the season, and there is plenty to discuss here at GPFans as the drivers' merry-go-round continues to spin and spin. But it's Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher that are also in the headlines as Haas forget about 2022 and look to deal with the problems they have internally in 2021. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is all the news you need to know about in Formula One coming up this Tuesday. Before we go any further, a reminder to hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all that we do at the channel. Now, let's get into the important headlines. So the driver merry-go-round further up the grid is opening up some spots further back as well, but Williams CEO Jost Capito is refusing to be rushed into deciding his team's driver lineup for next year, despite pressure from Red Bull and Mercedes to commit to either Alex Albon or Nyck de Vries in the next few days. Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, has said Williams is in discussion with Red Bull reserve driver Alex Albon, who raced for Red Bull last year, while Mercedes is keen to find a place on the grid for their Formula E champion, Nyck de Vries. Capito said, "As I've always mentioned, we have no time pressure at all in sorting out our drivers, so I think some others have higher pressure to sort out drivers than we have. We go for what is in our interests, what we believe is the best for us, what we believe is the best solution, try to get this solution, and then go from there. But in the moment, we have more options, and none of them is a bad option." Now, Williams aren't insistent on perhaps their new driver for next year having F1 experience. Capito has always said that his team's driver lineup is not going to be dictated by external pressures, such as, engine supplier, despite their strong links with Mercedes, although Christian Horner continues to claim that his Constructors' Championship rivals are attempting to influence the decision. Capito revealed there are more than just the two heavily linked drivers in the frame, and said the new regulations for 2022 means Formula One experience is less vital for next season. There are others as well, others with Formula One experience and others who are young drivers who push hard to get into Formula One, said Capito. It is not just those two, there are much wider options. Having a driver with Formula One experience is never negative, it is always positive. But for next year, as the cars are new and everybody has to learn to drive these new cars, you can also bring a newcomer in because then the gap is the smallest. It's like driving in a different category a bit. So it is also an ideal point to bring, let's say, somebody new into Formula One. We will see what it turns out. We will see what the interests are, and I think we have various good options. And forget driver lineups for the 2022 season, it's getting your drivers this season to work together that's the problem, as Haas team principal Guenther Steiner is to hold clear the air talks with feuding drivers Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin before this weekend's Italian Grand Prix in a bid to calm fraying tempers. Schumacher and Mazepin initially clashed after qualifying at the Dutch Grand Prix, with the Russian driver claiming his German teammate had broken unwritten in-house rules. Then, on race day, Mazepin closed the door on his teammate at full throttle as the track became narrow near the pit entry, leading to the German's front wing being damaged and his race left in tatters. The relationship between the two has now been called irreparable by Schumacher, but the Haas team principal is keen to repair the rift between his young, talented drivers before Monza this weekend. On the incident at Zandvoort, Steiner said, "It is a difficult one. I would say there is no one to be blamed on this. We need to work on it because after our meeting we haven't come to a conclusion. Our plan is to meet before Monza and see what we need to do to avoid this in the future. It doesn't help anybody. I tried to explain that one and we will work on it and try to get it sorted." Suggesting Schumacher was just as culpable as Mazepin for the incident, Steiner added, "You can always say it is dangerous. You can avoid danger. I don't think it was a nasty move, to be honest, but I looked at the scenario and it always takes two to tango. Cooperation is going to be key for the 2022 season. Haas have dedicated their research and development budget to their 2022 car this year, but will need their drivers to work together to help develop the car as they look to move up the F1 ladder under new regulations next season. asked if this can be achieved, Steiner said, "That is the exact discussion we have had with them, and their race engineers were involved in it as well, so they know what is going on. It is not easy to bang their heads together, but you have to come to some conclusion, otherwise you need to put rules in place." So is poor Guenther Steiner going to get his young bucks to actually sort their situation out before we get to Monza this weekend? And what do you make of all of the moves going on up and down the grid and the interference from Christian Horner and Toto Wolff when it comes to potentially that spot at Williams for next season? Let us know in the comments section below. Stay up to date with everything that we do here on the channel by hitting that subscribe button down below as well. You can get onto Twitter and Instagram and follow us across all the platforms at GPFans Global. And we have the Stewards Room podcast out this week after every racing Sunday in Formula One this season, breaking down all of the key points from the on-track action. Get that wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back later on in the week with the build-up to what should be a cracking race at Monza.